Hey everyone, today I'm looking at Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow. So, kind of building off the first game, there's a few a few pieces of quality of life improvement. In this game, you now have multiple attachments for your rifle, including things like a sticky cam. You have a lot more explosive devices now, and so just everything in the first Splinter Cell game on a mechanical level just done better. You're still using your night vision goggles and heat vision goggles and all the basic other scenarios. And what's only really different about this game is just, again, you have a few more gameplay elements. And now in this scenario, you're just very, very much based in East Asia. So the entire story is actually based on the main aspect of Pandora Tomorrow, the way it kind of opens up, is that a U.S. embassy is attacked in Indonesia, and it's by this mercenary group that essentially is planning to use a biological weapon to unleash on the United States. And so the kind of themes of biological warfare are very much, the main focus of this game, and they thematically, drive the narrative forward. Another cool thing is you're introduced to one mission where you meet a shepherd who returns later in the other games, but here he's just doing sniper support in one of the missions that you're working on. And so there's just more environments to discover. What's different with this game than the last one is that where there's mostly urban environments, you now have a lot of fields and jungles and greenery to explore. And so it's very different in terms of just how you're getting around the environment, how you're sneaking around. But fundamentally, everything is pretty much more or less the same. I always thought was really cool is that the climax of this game takes place at LAX, where you're trying to intercept the package that's being transported. You also notice in this game that the CG for these, mid-mission cutscenes are much, much better. I mean, they kind of look like toys in the first game, and here they've really improved those graphics a lot. I did feel, though, that in general, that the volumetric lighting in the first game is still pretty iconic and something that's slightly missing from this game. But overall, it's still more or less a good, interesting experience. And again, the atmosphere in these games is just so thick and iconic and distinct. Another thing that they did also is that they removed the optic cable as a special item and just use it as a contextual action whenever you come up to a door, which is very logical and sensible. The other thing you notice about the environments in this game is a lot of them are much larger, much more dynamic, much more kind of interesting. I would say there's a lot more things kind of going on in general in the environments, and simply because the scope and scale allows for it, which is very nice. Again, you're always going to be tempted to go through doors, essentially, you're never sure if you should rush through a door or if you should wait for the guards to go by or if you want to use your optic cable first. But a lot of the time, it's a combination of the two. And so there's always tension in these games and different environmental puzzles that you need to solve, essentially, in order to really progress without getting spotted. And so most of the missions will just take place in East Asia. But there's not really much else to say about this game. It functions more or less very similar to the first game, where the only difference is the story and it's shipped onto biological warfare. So there's really not much else to really say about this game, honestly. In terms of this first Splinter Cell, I guess I prefer this equally as much as that one, which they're both very much okay games, but this is really laying the groundwork for what is going to be Chaos Theory, where I always thought, well, why can't I ever, kill the guys when I have them at a chokehold? Why can't I stab them with a knife, like, in Metal Gear Solid? And of course, they add that immediately to Metal Gear Solid 3 and to Chaos Theory. And so the games we get after this one are a lot more entertaining. But again, the way that, the attachments, I think, really become a staple of the Splinter Cell series, and how they act in contrast with everything else makes it very iconic and a lot of fun. But yeah, not much else to say about this game. It's a sequel to the other Splinter Cell game, and, you just kind of go through the basic stealth atmosphere aesthetic, and that's pretty much it, guys. See ya.